Just a minute. Miles.
I'm sorry, Julie. I know I said we shouldn't see each other again.
It's all right. Come on in.
Thank you.
Kate mentioned to me that you were looking for me.
Yeah, she didn't seem too happy to see me.
Well, I think she's had a lot of other things on her mind. We had kind of an emergency here last night.
Yeah, I heard. One of the sheriff's men came by the cabin, and he said you were looking for a little boy.
Gregory Linden, he's living with Kate's grandson in Houston, and he came out here on the bus to visit Steve. Found out that Steve was gone. He just wandered off.
Have they found him yet?
About an hour ago. He was out most of the night, but Doc Williams checked him over, and he's going to be all right.
Well, I'm glad.
So what'd you want to see me about?
Something's happened, Ginny, that I think you should know about. Brett came by the cabin this morning, and she brought a friend with her. Ricky Decker.
Why did she bring Ricky Decker?
He'd been backpacking through those canyons along the Nueces River.
He had?
As a matter of fact, a friend of his was my guide the first time I went into that area.
Oh, Miles.
Ginny, I had to tell them the truth.
What?
I had to tell them about the fire compass and about high topar.
But you said, oh, that was dangerous.
I know, but I think in Brett's case, it's more dangerous not to tell her.
But, Miles...
She's persistent. If she continues this on her own, there's no telling what kind of trouble she's going to stumble into.
Well, I suppose you're right.
I had another visitor the other night, your husband. Right after we, I don't want to cause any more problems, Ginny. I'm going to be leaving here soon.
Allie?
Who's here?
Gregory. Oh, I was so glad when they called me from the ranch.
Where were you all night? I was worried sick about you.
You didn't have to worry. I'm okay.
You don't look okay. You look terrible. No, he's fine. We had a doctor check him out at the ranch.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, why did you do it, Greg?
To get Marshall's car back.
Well, that's silly. You could have... Allie, he is home, and he's fine. That's what counts.
And from now on, this is his home.
Mr. H., it's Baker. Bo Baker.
What is it, Baker? You're not calling to report another delay.
No, sir, not this time. I got it. I got it right here in my hand.
The fire compass?
That's what you wanted, isn't it? And when Bo Baker says he's going to deliver something, he comes through.
Where are you?
I'm in Marshall Village right now, but I'm heading on into Houston. Meet you at the usual place?
Yes, and the sooner the better.
Oh, Mr. H., you can't be in a bigger hurry than I am. You'll have that money with you?
Of course, Mr. Baker. As soon as I have that fire compass in my hand, you'll get everything that's coming to you.
Good. Because I don't plan on hanging around here much longer. As soon as that money is in my pocket, Houston has seen the last of Bo Baker.
Well, get a move on, Mr. Baker. I don't like to be kept waiting.
Well, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer, Mr. H. You'll get your fire compass all right. But I got some personal business to attend to first.
Texas. The first part of Texas is brought to you by the lively decaffeinated High Point Decaffeinated Coffee, with flavor as full of life as you are.
Hi, where you been? Shopping? I bought us some pillows. Pillows? They're decorative pillows. I figured this place needed a little brightening up. There's one thing I can't stand is those tacky motel bedspreads.
Those are real nice, Ruby.
Yeah, I thought we'd get a head start on the furniture for our apartment.
Well, if we ever get one.
We're gonna get one. And when we do, it's gonna be the right one. Lurleen, you can't just let people push into taking the first thing that comes along.
Well, we certainly haven't done that. We must have looked at 50 different apartments already. Ruby, do you know where my blue sweater is? I know I packed it, but I just can't figure out which one.
I'm sorry, honey. I know you're not used to living out of a suitcase like this. But you gotta believe me when I tell you it's all gonna be worth it.
I liked almost every one of those apartments.
Lurleen, the place you live reflects who you are. Now, we gotta find a place that looks like it belongs to two up-and-coming producers.
Producers?
Yeah, well, we're gonna produce Ricky's album, aren't we?
Why are you in such a good mood today? Have you talked to those people at L&R Recording Studios?
No, I talked to someone a whole lot more important than that.
Who?
Vicki Bellman. And she promised me that Ricky is definitely gonna have his own show on KVIK.
When?
Soon, real soon.
Oh, Ruby, that's wonderful.
So you see, honey, we gotta hang in there just a little bit longer. Pretty soon we're gonna be moving in a whole different world.
What are you doing in the sunroom anyway?
Oh, I'm trying to make something with this construction set you gave me for Christmas.
Got your little bowls all over the floor.
Yeah, well, they're so small. I don't seem to be able to hold on to them very well.
That's the whole point. The man at the hobby shop said this little kit is supposed to improve your manual dexterity.
I don't think it's working.
Well, you mustn't get discouraged. You just got to keep trying. Now, what you building?
Well, I thought I'd start with the windmill. The instruction pamphlet said that'd be a good project for a beginner.
I just love windmills.
Yeah. Well, you know, the instruction pamphlet sure was interesting. You know that the guy who invented this thing came up with it around 1913. It was inspired by the structural steel, the New Haven...
John, you're not supposed to be using your head. You're supposed to be using your hands.
But I'm not any good with my hands.
I know. And if you're going to be around cars, you should be.
Vivian, I'm a chauffeur, not an auto mechanic.
It's the same thing. Any good chauffeur is supposed to be equal to any emergency situation. Now, like, for instance, what would you do if your fan belt broke?
I call the garage.
If you keep playing with these little bolts, you shouldn't have to.
Yes, Vivian.
Now, I'm going to go away and leave you to this, and then I'm going to come back and check up on you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, just cut it out.
That's it. That's high Topaz. You and Donnie were right.
Yep, place of the Great Fire. You know, you're gonna go cross-eyed if you keep staring at that map like that.
Oh, I can't help it. From a geological standpoint, this whole thing is fascinating.
Why is it so fascinating?
Well, because it's a relatively recent occurrence.
Recent? You call 700 years ago recent?
Oh, yes. In terms of millennium, 700 years is yesterday. And an explosion of the magnitude that Donnie and Miles are talking about, that's almost unprecedented. Oh, I would love the chance to explore this site myself.
Hey, Brett, remember what the professor said. That site is dangerous.
Yeah, I know. And I am even more intrigued by what he said about the fire compass.
You mean about how the fire compass is the key to the explosion and that there are supernatural things going on out there?
Yep.
You don't really believe that, do you?
I've raised 6. Why did Ryan come to see you?
Because he loves you and he wants to find out what's going on between us.
But he has no reason to think... Did he accuse us of anything?
No. He didn't even mention us at all.
Then what did he talk about?
Me? What I'm doing here, how long I intend staying, whether my research has anything to do with the Marshall Ranch. But that's not really what he wants to know. And quite frankly, I don't blame Ryan, Ginny. If you were my wife, I'd be pretty suspicious of any man that even looked at you.
Miles, please.
I had no right to kiss you, I know. I couldn't help myself. It just happened.
What did you tell Ryan?
What do you mean, what did I tell him?
About your research.
Well, I just told him that I was doing some geological research on the ranch, and it had nothing to do with the Marshalls.
Did you tell him why you were staying at Rena's cabin?
Yes, I told him that I'd lost something that night in the Jeep. And it was very vital to me, and I needed some more time to find it.
Did Ryan agree to give you more time?
More or less.
Well, then you have no reason to leave.
I can't stay, Ginny. Not now.
But you haven't found the fire compass yet.
It's gone, Ginny. Don't you understand that? It's just disappeared. I can't see any point to keep looking for it.
Where will you go?
I'd rather not say.
Miles, this is crazy. You're safe here on the ranch, you know that. And what if those men find you? You said yourself they're
Ginny,
ruthless.
please.
Your life's in danger.
Look, I can take care of myself.
Oh, yes. I know the way you take care of yourself. The first night you arrived on this ranch, you almost died.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Thanks to you.
Miles, you can't leave. I mean, I have no right to insist on you staying.
Ginny, I haven't any reason to stay.
I can't go to bed now. It's too early.
Well, now, I know it's not your usual time, but you didn't exactly have a usual night last night, did you?
No, I guess not.
Well, I don't suppose you, got much rest out there on the range, did you?
I got some.
Well, it's more than I got. You know, Ashley and I were up most of the night searching for you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Hop up here. Nobody gets lost on purpose, you know.
I'm also sorry about the racing car.
Gregory, let's just get something straight. If you promise to forget that I had lost my temper, I'll forget that you tried to trade away my racing car. Is that a deal?
Okay. What are we going to do with it now that I got it back for you?
Here, scoot over. I was thinking maybe I just leave it right here.
In my room?
Sure. You can have it as long as you like.
Does that mean I can stay too?
Well, of course. After all, I'm the one that went out there and found you in those woods. You are my boy now.
Really?
Finders keepers?
Oh, Marshall.
Say, listen, you just better not get yourself excited like this. Ashley came up in here and found you jumping up and down. We'd both catch it.
Sorry.
Well, don't be sorry. Just lie down there and keep quiet. Keep under those covers. Try to get some sleep. Good night now.
Marshall?
What?
Can you tell me a story?
I'm not very good at those kinds of things, Gregory. I don't even think I know a bedtime story.
Marshall, I'm 10 years old. I don't want to listen to bedtime stories. I wanted to hear a story about your racing career.
Oh, you do?
Well, every time I get, like, a little scared, I'll just think about all the dangers you went through when you were race driving. And I thought to myself, Marshall could do it, so could I.
Well, you know, Gregory, racing isn't really all that dangerous.
Sure it is.
Well, yeah, well, maybe, sometimes. I remember this one time in a race that I happened to lose. I
You
lost
lost?
it. Yeah. Yeah, sit up here. Everybody loses now and then, you know. I remember it was the Dutch Grand Prix. I was caught right in the middle of a grid between Mario Andretti.
Mario Andretti? You know him?
Yes, I do. Everybody in the international circuit knows Mario Andretti. You see, the thing you have to worry about with the course at Zandvoort is there's a really wicked hairpin turn. Just whips right around there.
Hello?
Ashley,
Yes?
have you thought about what I told you?
Yes.
I want the money you inherited to be kept invested in the corporations I control.
I know.
We do understand each other on this little matter, don't we?
Yes, Hannibal. Whatever you say.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's nice to see you in a good mood for a change.
I'm always in a good mood.
No, you're not. I've been really worried about you for the last couple of days.
Yeah, well, things were just a little shook up for a while. I had a lot of changes dumped on me all at once. I'm okay now, though.
Can't keep Ruby right down.
Not for long.
Who do you suppose that is?
Do you remember to pay the motel bill?
Yeah.
Then it's probably Billy Joe. I'm supposed to go meet him over at the coop later. He probably just stopped by to see how we're doing. Hey.
Hello, Pumpkin. Aren't you going to ask me in?
Ricky, look, if Miles Rehnquist says that the fire compass is the key to the mystery at High Topaz, then you better believe him.
You really put a lot of faith in what that guy has to say, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And you really buy this business about the supernatural being there?
If Miles says that there is, then yes, I accept it.
I don't know. This business about ghosts and evil spirits, it's a little hard to
Miles
swallow.
never said anything about ghosts. That is a childish interpretation of the word supernatural.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, what does it mean to you?
Well, when Miles refers to the supernatural, he's not just talking about superstition. He means that there are forces at work that cannot be analyzed in scientific terms.
Well, if that's true, then how does anybody deal with this?
By analyzing the material that is available.
Such as?
Such as the fire compass. And that is why it is so important that we help him find it.
Now, how are we going to do that? He's already searched the entire ranch, and it's not there.
Well, it's got to be. Now, Miles says that he hid it somewhere near the stable, and if he did, then it's got to be there. Can't just vanish into thin air.
Well, it might. If it's really supernatural.
Lurleen, I'd like you to meet Hank. Hank Smith. Hank, say hello to Lurleen Harper.
Well, Lurleen, this is a real pleasure. Ruby didn't tell me that she had such a pretty roommate.
We're partners.
Huh?
Lurleen and I are business partners.
Well, what sort of business?
The nightclub business.
Really?
Yeah, I know it still sounds kind of funny to me when I say it like that, but it's true. I own this country and western place called the Coop. It's just a couple of blocks from here on Westheimer. Ruby manages it for me.
Well, that must be a real nice arrangement. Ruby's real good at managing things. I know that because, see, we had a joint banking account up in Nashville. And Ruby did a real fine job of managing that.
Yeah, Ruby's helping to arrange my finances, too. You see, my granddaddy died, and he left me all kinds of money. And if it hadn't been for Ruby's help, I don't know what I would have done.
Well, Punkin's been known for a real big heart where it comes to helping folks out that need.
You said you had a joint account up in Nashville? Is that where you're from?
No, but that's where I met Ruby.
Were you both in the music business?
Well, more or less.
Hank was a client of mine.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe Mr. Smith could help us with Ricky's album.
Oh, no, Lily, I don't...
Oh, Ricky Decker. He's a singer that Ruby manages.
Well, I know Ricky. Matter of fact, he's one of my favorite people.
Well, Ruby and I are going to produce an album for him. And if you're not
Lily, I don't think Mr. Smith would be interested in working on Ricky's album, because Hank and Ricky have totally different tastes in music.
Oh.
Lily, honey, you think you could do me a real big favor?
Sure.
See, I totally forgot I had this appointment with Hank, and Billy Joe's waiting for me over at the coop, so would you mind running down there and just tell him I'm going to be a little late?
Okay.
Thanks,
I have some stuff I need to talk to Roy about anyway. It was really nice meeting you, Mr. Smith. Hope you see you again sometime soon.
Well, so do I, Lurleen.
All right, Bo. What do you want?
A pumpkin, can't you guess?
No, I can't.
I'm here to give you something that you want. Something that you want real bad.
Stay tuned for the next part of Texas.